Joining me now is CNN's Pentagon correspondent Chris Lawrence and CNN international correspondent Phil Black. He's live in Moscow. And CNN's Fred Pleitgen in Damascus. Fred, to you first.
Hi, Dana. I had an interview earlier today with the Deputy Foreign Minister of Syria, and that's when he told me that the UN weapons inspectors would have immediate and unrestricted access to all of those places where chemical weapons were allegedly used on Wednesday. The only thing that needs to be sorted now is the logistics of when they can actually go down there, because, of course, they have to cross the front line towards rebel-controlled territory, so they also have to go into negotiations with the rebels. The UN, for their part, is saying that they want to begin that mission starting tomorrow. I want you to listen in to a portion of what the Deputy Foreign Minister told me.
They can start immediately.
What sort of agreement have you reached with them?
We worked for 2 days. I have never doubted the possibility of reaching an agreement.
So they have complete access and they can go anywhere they want, anytime they want? Is that the case in all of these areas?
Yes.
Okay. And that can start immediately?
Yes.
So there's the Deputy Foreign Minister. He also warned the United States, saying that if the U.S. decided to take military action here in Syria, it would kill a lot of civilians, and that also the Syrian government would fight back. However, when I asked him what fighting back exactly meant, he said that he wouldn't say that on CNN television. Dana.
Fred, thank you very much. Stand by for a second. I want to go to Moscow to our Phil Black, because this is obviously a very important subplot, or maybe even more than a subplot of this story, and that is the Russian government and how they're reacting. Phil, tell us about that.
We've had a couple of statements from the Russian Foreign Ministry today, Dana, and they boil down to this, effectively. They're telling the United States and its allies to use discretion and to not repeat the tragic mistakes of the past. When they talk about using discretion, they're saying wait for this United Nations investigation to run its course, to determine objectively on the ground precisely what happened with this alleged chemical weapons incident. When they talk about not repeating the mistakes of the past, they're saying you should not even be thinking about taking military action that does not follow international law, that does not have the blessing of the United Nations Security Council. Now, we know that the UN Security Council is never going to give that blessing because Russia will use its veto. But the message from the Russian government today very strongly is do not consider going this alone as you've done in the past. And that's why we're hearing Russian officials today talking about Iraq as an example where unilateral military action didn't go so well, according to Russia, and they would argue the impact in Syria would be just as severe. Dana.
Phil, thank you, and stand by to you too. Chris, I want to talk to you about what you're hearing inside the administration. The president met with his national security team yesterday. Very rare, very telling that he did so on a Saturday. Why is this time the planning inside the administration different than in the past?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. For the president to be working on a Saturday, not only working, but to call in his entire national security team, the director of the CIA, the national intelligence, the entire apparatus. And I think what really hits home this time is the fact that Secretary Hagel is traveling overseas in Asia, had to phone in on a teleconference call during that trip. And last time, when the Pentagon updated its military options for the president, it very much felt like it was coming or being driven by pressure from the outside. Republicans, even some Democrats in Congress. This time feels differently. From sources I've been speaking with, this is more internally driven by the administration realizing they may have to do something.
Very interesting. And I want to also now bring into our discussion Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California, who is also a senior member of the House Intelligence Committee. What are your thoughts on this? I know you and I have talked in the halls of Congress before, and you've been very reluctant to arm the Syrian rebels. But is this time different?
It is different, and I have been reluctant, you're right, Donna, because I felt the mission wasn't clear. We weren't going to provide enough weapons to make a difference on the battlefield, but we could very much be drawn into this civil war. Here, though, I think we've always had a national security interest in deterring the use of chemical weapons and taking strong action against the use of chemical weapons. And if this is confirmed, I think the White House will have to act in concert with our allies, with NATO, with our regional friends. I don't think we can allow repeated use of chemical weapons now and escalated use of chemical weapons to stand. If we do, it encourages the broader use of chemical weapons in other conflicts, and we have a core national security interest in making sure that doesn't happen.
And I want to bring you in, Chris, in 1 second, but I also want to play for you first, just to sort of set the table for this discussion, something that two of your congressional colleagues said this morning, a Democrat and a Republican, about this.
What we've seen indicates that this is clearly a big event of grave concern. I think it is fair to say that as difficult as the problem is, this is something that is going to require America's attention and hopefully the entire international community's attention.
Well, that was obviously a Democrat important one. The president, you know, we're in breaking news here. But what I was going to play, former colleague of yours. Well, what I was going to play is Democrat Eliot Engel, who is the top Democrat on the Foreign Affairs Committee, and Bob Corker, a senator, Republican, both of them saying that we can't wait. We can't wait for Congress to come back to authorize this. There has to be action. And Corker even said that he's talked to the White House. He thinks action could happen relatively soon. What are you hearing, and do you agree with that?
Well, I think it very well could happen soon, and I think that's the message that the Assad regime already has. My suspicion is the reason they're now willing to allow UN inspectors in is I think in the absence of doing that, that action could be imminent, and this helps them buy some time. I think that, the White House has drawn a red line, and in terms of the credibility of the White House, the cost of not acting now, I think, exceeds the cost of acting, but they have to be careful to do this in concert with our allies. They have to be careful to limit the scope of what they're trying to achieve. They have to make sure that they make it clear this is not designed to bring the regime down. That's too big a mission. It is designed to deter any use of chemical weapons by Assad or others. I think there'd be bipartisan support for that, and I think that the cost of inaction now is just too high if this is confirmed.
Yeah, and I think that we've already heard from administration officials saying too little, too late. They think that any evidence that would be collected 5 days later, has been corrupted. That there's been intense shelling in that area, other intentional acts by the Assad regime, and that they're not going to put all that much stock in what comes out 6 to 7 days after the attack.
And both of you, I wanted you to listen to Fred Plankin, who's got a question for you, Congressman, from the field in Syria. Fred.
Yeah, Congressman, I was just wondering what sort of action you have in mind, because if you say that you don't think that changing the regime or that bringing down the regime should be what should be going on, and that the real aim has to be deterring the use of chemical weapons, how do you do that? How do you make sure that you hit the Assad regime hard enough to get them to stop using chemical weapons and destroying those chemical weapons without weakening to them to a point where, for instance, Islamist rebels get the upper hand on the battlefield in places like Aleppo? It seems like a very difficult thing to do. And one thing I want to say before that is I can also actually confirm from the ground here that there has indeed been intense shelling going on over the past 2-3 days that seems to be directed at exactly those neighborhoods where those chemical weapons claims were made.
Well, I don't think the White House is going to want to risk American lives by sending pilots over Syria, so that really limits our options to crew strikes. And I think that's probably where the White House is going to go. I think there's little danger that targeted crew strikes are going to so destabilize the Assad regime that would fall quickly. That would probably be too much to expect of that kind of strike. The bigger risk is actually that the strike won't be significant enough to deter him. But I think it would. I think it could be very punishing. You wouldn't go after the stockpiles themselves, which only could disperse the chemical weapons, but rather go after his missile stock, go after some of his aircraft, go after his ability to deliver these weapons in the future.
And Congressman, how important is it that there is international consensus here? And to follow on that, how problematic is it that Russia is so reluctant, not just reluctant, but very much against this?
I think it's very important that this be a strong international coalition. If we're going to make a statement about the prohibition, the taboo on the use of chemical weapons, it can't just be the United States. And this is where our leadership is going to have to come in. But I also agree with those that have said we can't wait on the United Nations to act. The Russians will never allow that to take place. Their national security interests are very different than ours. They will seek to make murky who was responsible for this. But I think we do have to act in concert with others, and I think we can.
So you think it's time to move ahead, don't even bother with the United Nations Security Council, and start to take steps to go forward?
I think we ought to quickly as possible get those inspectors in to do their investigation. I think we ought to also gather our intelligence and outside sources to make the case. I think the president will need to go before the American people and explain exactly what action we're taking in concert with others and why.
Congressman, thank you very much.